Alright guys, so with the new update, we actually have the new boss hunt event that is going on right now. And in this video, I wanted to quickly go over the things that you guys should kind of keep in mind, as well as a general guideline for you guys, and also some teams you guys will be able to use for difficulty F as well as D, and then I'll make separate videos for difficulties C, B, A, and so on. Alright, I am currently right now inside of difficulty A-2. Oh, actually I cleared 2 and I am now in 3, and currently I'm on a different account in order to show you guys the difficulty F as well as D, because you're not able to rerun this. And before I get into the teams of clearing difficulty F as well as D, I just want to let you guys know that the rewards for this season, because of the fact that it gets harder and harder and harder as this continues on, just like every other event you guys have, this is going to be where the pay to win aspect comes into play. However, I do want to let you guys know, because of the fact that we do have the shop, this is going to be something that you guys still want to try and take advantage of, because you guys do have something like the Ancient Star Soulstone of Choice chest. You have the pins here, you have some toppings, crystals, you even have the Epic Soulstone as well as powders and things like that. So even though your ranking might not be as high as you guys would like it, just try to take advantage of it so that you guys have the coins, alright, that you guys are able to exchange for some great rewards. Alright, but let's get into it now, and let's talk about the team building and the boss hunt itself. So the boss hunt is going to be divided into different sections, and you guys will have to build your team around this battle point that is given out for this particular event. And the battle point is going to continue to increase as you guys increase in difficulty and as you guys defeat bosses. But you guys can see right over here, the reward for defeating this particular boss is going to be that I get 2 new battle tactics. All right, and that the tactics is right over here, where I am able to choose some extra buffs that will help me in battle. And then another time it will be battle points, where it will generally increase the overall battle point that I'm able to use for this run. And something that I want you guys to know is that right over here, the special condition is that every single cookie that you guys are going to use inside of your team is going to be at least minimum level 50, as well as their skill is also going to increase all the way up to 50, and their minimum promotion is going to increase to 3 stars as well. So if your cookie is level 1, it will automatically turn into level 50 skill, as well as 3-star promotion. And another thing is that common as well as rare cookies are going to be getting some increase in their stat, so don't be afraid to use some of these rare as well as commons, because they are going to cost a lot less in battle points. And then the other thing is that we do have some decrease in healing as well as the shield as well. Here we go, guys. Let's go over the first team. This is going to depend, of course, on your stats, but if you guys do have a pretty decent stat, the team that I recommend, if you guys have the ability to make it, is going to be Tartatan as your main damage dealer, because Tartatan is actually able to deal some insane amount of damage. So I recommend Tartatan. And if you guys have Rockstar is going to be your healer. And then, just one tank is perfectly fine as well. Some people do use Milky Way. Milky Way is great. You can use Wallberry. And on top of that, if you guys do want to have someone that is able to deal some even more damage, it's going to be someone like Rye. Alright, so yes, the bosses are going to have some immunity to certain debuffs and will not take damage from something like poison or fire, depending on what it is. But these cookies still do damage, alright? This is generally the team that I'll recommend you guys to, use throughout F as well as D, because the bosses are not very hard, alright? Especially if you guys are returning or older player, then you can see that the HP is super low. That's like 1 shot from probably Tartatan for most players, especially with level 75. But right now, especially, you can see that there is no weakening or vulnerability for this boss. So I'm just going to use this team real quick. And the treasures are going to be generally, alright, the whistle, scroll, as well as the watch. I'm not even going to put toppings on this for now. Let's just quickly go through it. Alright, guys, so let's quickly go through this. Alright, and even if you're using Wallberry, you don't need to have the magic candy necessarily for this. Alright, but there you guys go. You can see that Tartatan just does insane amount of damage, especially to bosses. So I do really recommend Tartatan. But there you guys go. And then now you're gonna start unlocking these tactics. Alright, so you don't have any points right now to use the tactics, but for right now, normally for difficulty F, you should be able to use most cookies and just kind of beat it. So let's quickly speed run it real quick. And again, I'm just gonna use Tartatan here, and it should be about 1 shot right there. Okay, so Tartatan, all right, again, come in super clutch for any of these boss stages as well. All right, and there you guys go. Let's keep going. Again, we're just gonna use the skill and Tartatan. Boom. Okay, this time it wasn't one shot, but you know, it was very close again. Okay, there is the third boss. Let's keep going. Here we go, here we go. And let's use our skills here. And boom. Tartatan once again. Alright guys, so once in a while you guys are going through your difficulties, you're going to actually get these challenge stage where your battle point cost is actually going to increase. So in this case, I'm actually just going to go and remove Rai, and then we'll just continue on. Or what you guys can do is you could just replace you know, one of the tanks as well. That's perfectly fine, but you know, we're just going to go and kind of just speed run it with Tartatan. Alright, of course, it will be a little bit more difficult for you guys, especially if your promotion is a lot lower, as well as if your level is a lot lower. But you can see this Tartatan is very minimum as well. No promotion, that's why we have it at 3-star, okay, because of the buff. And we're gonna use these skills again. This time around, we're gonna actually wait until the invulnerability is gone, because Stardust has that invulnerability, which will prevent him from taking damage. So there you guys go. Okay guys, so last stage of difficulty F, so no vulnerability again, so don't need to really worry about it. Just keep going in and just deal the damage that you can do with Tartatan. And we're gonna be able to deal the damage here, and boom, they are gone. Alright guys, so we're now in difficulty E, and as of right now, we're still not going to have any vulnerability, but as we continue on, we're going to start to see some of them. But for now, let's just keep going throughout some of these. They're not too hard, again, for most players, because their stats are not really high. Again, for Stardust, as of right now, there's nothing special, so we're just going to wait until the invulnerability is gone, and then we are going to use a skill. Alright, and here we go. He comes down, and we're going to use skill. And don't forget to heal. Alright. And here we go. Done, done, done right there. And something that I do recommend if you guys are starting to feel some difficulty is going to look at their skills and see what they have. And they do have stuns, right, for the Choco Warehound Princess. If this is the case, then you used to use someone like BTS, you use someone like Cream Puff, Snapdragon, someone who's able to deal with some of the stuns that will prevent our cookies from dealing damage. But here we go, let's continue. Alright, for this one, we can just use our skills right away. Alright, and you can see right there, like stun immune, burn immune, and such. For most bosses, again, they are immune to most debuffs. Alright guys, so starting from difficulty E, stage 3, you're going to start to see that's vulnerable to something. Alright, so it's going to include something like vulnerable to light, vulnerable to fire, vulnerable to poison, vulnerable to something like light cage, as well as zap, as well as stun and things like that. Alright, so once that happens and you guys are starting to have difficulty, alright, you don't need to focus on it as of right now for most players, but if you guys start to have difficulty, those vulnerability are going to come into play and will help you guys out. But for right now, I'm just going to continue on and just kind of speed run this all the way up to at least difficulty D. Kind of want to show you guys here something is that later on, as you guys continue on, you're going to see these bar on the top here, and it's actually going to help you guys out in dealing more damage. Actually, this boss right over here in particular for Dark Cow, you're actually able to see that Dark Cow does take, defense reduction right there. Alright, here we go. So you're gonna be able to see that Ryan and Tartatan are gonna just deal so much extra damage here. Of course, this Gardener actually does later on have some damage reflection and stuff like that. I'm not sure if it has it right now, but you can see this one is vulnerable to burning as well. Alright, so this Gardener does take fire damage. Alright, here we go. So this one is gonna be stage 5 now. Alright, we're gonna get some stuns, which is kind of annoying, but you're gonna start to see right here. Do you guys see this bar right here? This bar is actually going to be the bar that is going to stun or prevent the actual boss from attacking. And I'm gonna actually go into it later on for difficulty D, which is around the time where for some players it will actually matter a lot. So I will talk about that then. So these bars are going to come into play later, especially in order to, prevent the boss from actually activating their skills and such. All right, it does kind of increase like tiny bit over time, but the main point is to use the vulnerability in order to increase that bar like dramatically. All right, but it's pretty easy as of right now for difficulty F as well as E. All right, guys, last one for difficulty E, and then now we're gonna start getting into the a little bit more challenging part of difficulty, you know, D as well as C and so on. But here we go. Let's just kind of, you know, use our Rai and Tartatan. Hopefully right here it will be over. There you guys go. Alright, now moving on to difficulty D. Alright guys, so starting from difficulty D, some of you guys might have a little bit of harder time, so I want to quickly go over the best method in order to deal with these bosses, and that's going to include the vulnerable to something. Alright, these vulnerability, again, just like I mentioned in difficulty E, is going to increase their bar and will prevent them from attacking or prevent them from using their skill and things like that, basically stunning the enemy. Alright, so for Choco Warehound Princess, the vulnerability is to stun. So you want to go to a second team or something like that and use some of the cookies that are going to have stun in their skill or in their basic auto attack. And that's going to include someone like Wallberry, who is going to be able to stun using his skill. We also have someone like Cotton. Cotton is also pretty good in dealing stun. And we also have someone like, you know, generic Choco Brute, as well as someone like Pinecone. These are going to be some of the cookies that will have it. We also actually have Werewolf. Werewolf is also an option as well. Alright, so these are the cookies that I will personally use right now. And then you also want to use something like the Robe instead of the Whistle this time around, because that is going to help out in dealing the stun. And then for tactics, I will recommend attack speed and then some extra basic stat like these ones right over here. Just use it all up. Generally, if you guys don't need any of the ones on the bottom and you don't have a lot of points, then these top ones are going to be really, really good. These 5 right over here. Alright, so let's go into the boss. Alright, so for most of these guys, I would say going with full solid almond is going to be the best idea for all of them. You guys can use something like Syrian Raspberry as well, but you guys were able to see, because the bar filled up all the way, Brute actually got stunned and was not able to use any skill or target our cookies. That actually was super, super fast right there. But you guys can see Wallberry actually did so much damage. Alright, but that is going to be the case. Of course, all of them are like pretty darn high ascension and stuff like that on this account. But yeah, vulnerability equals stun for the enemies. Alright guys, so for starters, the vulnerability is going to be to poison. So now we're going to start to use some other cookies that are going to have some poison damage, which is going to include cookies like prune juice, poison mushroom, as well as affogato. Licorice does also have poison damage, but you do need the magic candy. So instead of going with someone like that, you can just go with these 3 who are going to actually have poison damage. You don't need all of them. So I have Tartatan in here as well to deal some extra damage to the boss. So the toppings that I recommend for prune juice is going to be swift chocolate, for affogato as well as poison mushroom, something like Syrian raspberry, you know, or Syrian raspberry mix is going to be fine. Of course, you know, for Snapdragon on this particular one is going to be, you know, swift chocolate for everything. And then, you know, for Tartatan, something like, you know, Syrian raspberry as of right now with attack speed is going to definitely help out. And then now this is where the tactics are going to really, really help out. So you guys are able to see right here, cookies, poison type attack plus 40%. That is going to allow your poison type damage to deal a lot more damage here. And then again, if you guys have some spare points, then just use it on something like this. All right, maybe I'll just use something like this right over here, and let's continue on to the battle. All right, and if you don't have any of these like affogato or poison mushroom leveled out, then you can also just use someone like another healer. If you guys are taking a lot more damage, you guys can use someone like Wallberry to increase the overall, you know, defense. So this one right here in particular, Stardust, does not have any way to stun or to get stunned. All right, but you're able to deal a lot of damage right here. All right, because of the poison vulnerability. All right, 2 other bosses, the poison damage is actually going to be immune, right? But for Stardust, on the other hand, you're able to see that you're able to deal damage with poison, and boom, there you guys go. All right, so to vulnerable to light as well as fire and poison, there is no bar. But you're actually able to deal more damage to him. All right, so there you guys go. All right, guys, so now on stage 3, Royal Gardener is actually going to start having these passives, which is going to be reflect damage back to the attackers, as well as you're going to be able to see that there's going to be poison damage, as well as vampiric bite that is going to be applied to our cookies. So again, the Gardener is going to be vulnerable to fire, so I am using a fire type kind of team right here with Mollisance as well as Rockstar. We have Snapdragon to have the debuff resist. And then we are using Rise. So Tartatan can be used, but Tartatan does take a lot of damage from the reflection. So I do have, Solid Almond, Syrian Raspberry, as well as Swift Chocolate on these two. And then for the, the tactics, I do recommend the reflective damage and then the fire type damage. Vampiric Bite does do quite a lot of damage too, so I have that on. And then I do have the attack. You can go with attack speed. But here we go. Let's get into the battle here. We do have the Enchanted Robe. And if you don't have Molotov, again, you can use someone like, I would say, Wildberry to have the extra, tanking ability. Because this one in particular for D-3 is going to be a stage where it's going to be a challenge stage. So your cookies are going to cost a little bit more here. All right, but Rai, you can see right there, fire type damage, a ton of damage. All right, so if you have Rai leveled up, super, super good right here. All right, and you guys can see Rai and Molotov, not bad at all here. All right, guys, for difficulty D-4, which is going to be Dark Cacao Cookie, vulnerable to light. And if you guys need some cookies that are going to be, doing some light damage, is going to be someone like, we got Clotted Cream as well as Financier. But the best one is going to be, without a doubt, Madeline as well as Queen of Man. Right here, these two combo is pretty much more than what you need here. And then I would recommend Pure Vanilla because Dark Cacao is going to deal some injury, which is going to be like 75% of your entire team's HP. And on top of that, someone like Snapdragon. You can use someone like BTS as well, but Enchanted Robe as well as the Whistle is fine here. You can use Scroll as well, and then the Jelly Watch. And for Queen of Man and Madeline, I would recommend using either full Solid Almond or full Raspberry, depending on your stat. But here you guys go. I'm going to put Raspberry and then Raspberry for this. I definitely recommend if most players, if you guys are having difficulty, going with the full Solid Almond is fine too. And then the Enchanted Robe is applied to these two. So here we go. I would say most of the time, saving Pure Vanilla skill is probably going to be the best thing here, especially when the Dark Cacao does use the skill. All right, you're going to be able to see when he does the strike down, and you're going to see the injury. Just use Pure Vanilla skill, alleviate the injury as much as possible. And then starting then, you can kind of just use Pure Vanilla skill and then try to get rid of this injury. All right, and here we go. You can see right there, that's a lot of injury stacks. So Pure Vanilla is kind of going to be a very, very, very important part in dealing, with Dark Cacao, starting from difficulty D. All right, for most players, it's going to help out a lot. The debuff resist does help in kind of getting rid of some of the injury, but it's not a lot. It just kind of shortens it. All right, or lessen the effect, but at least for Pure Vanilla, you're able to completely get rid of it. All right, so there you guys go. Madeline and Queen of Man are going to be the best options for Dark Cacao. Of course, you don't need to use them. You can use someone like Tartatan as well as Rai here as well, but in order to deal more damage, it is going to help out. All right, now moving on to stage 5 is going to be the Sugar Swan, and Sugar Swan is going to have this effect right here, increases own damage resist. All right, so for this one in particular, you're going to need to start using some tactics in order to deal some more damage. And I recommend here something that is going to be a really, really important thing is going to be taking advantage of this vulnerable to light cage as well as zap. So there are certain cookies that are going to have zap in them, and it is going to be someone like Dark Cacao as well as Shining Glitter. If you don't have Shining Glitter, Twizzly is also an option. All right, so Twizzly Gummy is also going to be a cookie that you guys can use here, as well as, Shining Glitter again. And then again, Light Cage is going to be a thing, but I don't recommend Light Cage. Clotted Cream, the damage is not that great. Of course, later on it will help out, but I would say using just Twizzly and, Dark Cacao is fine too. If you don't want to use Dark Cacao, you just use Shining Glitter. But for this particular stage, I'm going to use something like this here. And we will use the whistle as well as the scroll and the watch. And for the toppings, I would recommend full Solid Almond, and then full Swift Chocolate, full Syrian Raspberry, and then for Twizzly or Shining Glitter, depending on who you guys have, full on crit is going to be the thing, and then full Swift Chocolate. So here we go. And then for tactics, all right, tactics is going to be really important here. All right, you want to take this damage bypass by 15% because this is going to allow you to deal a lot more damage, all right, to the boss. And then here, I would say healing, and then the extra stats like these ones right here. Just get the ones that you guys are able to. I would say something like this is going to help. Crit and crit damage is really, really important. So here we go. All right. And you're going to be able to see right there. The boss does not have a lot of HP. All right, but definitely, the bar is going to help out in stunning the boss here. All right, Tartatan is going to be able to deal a lot of damage to the boss. All right, Twizzly is just there to increase that bar by a lot. All right, Shining Glitter does this a lot better because Shining Glitter does not have a animation that's going to take it forever to finish, as well as, the skill cooldown is a lot faster. All right, so definitely recommend that. If you can, using 2 cookies with Zap or Light Cage is also going to help out. Clotted Cream is okay too, but again, it's super epic, so it does cost a lot more. And you can see right there, Tartatan did all the damage, but Twizzly Gummy was just kind of there to deal that Zap to increase the bar. Alright guys, so now on to stage 6, and this is going to be the Superus, alright, or Caperus. And the passive is going to be causing burn to the attacker. So depending on the number of attacks, you're going to get some, burn damage, and you're going to start, taking some damage here. And it is going to be vulnerable to freeze as well as taunt. All right, so taunt is going to be very unique here for this particular boss. So I'm actually going to go and use a cookie that you guys probably didn't think is going to be very useful here. And that is going to be no other than Night Cookie, all right? Night Cookie is actually going to have a taunt here, all right? Although, the taunt is not able to do much, it will actually be helpful for this particular stage. And Milk is also going to be a great option. You don't need the magic candy necessarily, all right? Just have Milk Cookie here. And then the next one that is going to be pretty darn good is going to be Sherbet. Sherbet is actually able to have some chance of applying freeze to the enemy. All right, although, Frost Queen is able to do that as well. The cooldown of Frost Queen is just really, really freaking long. So we're going to use Sherbet here. And then the healer is going to be very similar. You can use Rockstar as well as someone like, Snapdragon, or you can use Snapdragon as well as someone like Herb is also an option as well. And then now the treasures are going to be the Whistle as well as the Scroll and the Jelly Wand. So toppings for this is going to be Milk as well as Night are going to use Full Solid Almond, Sherbet Solid Almond, Swift Chocolate, and Swift Chocolate. If you guys don't want to use Night, you don't need to use Night, okay? You can use someone like Vampire to deal more damage. You don't have Milk, then replace it with Night, and you can use someone like Vampire in here as well to deal the damage. And the tactics that you really want to have here is going to be burn damage received minus 30%. That's going to really, really help out here in allowing your cookies to survive. Healing increase as well as, the rare cookie is going to help out here. Rare cookie 1, and then some extra, something like, I would say debuff resist will help out. And then the attack is probably going to be a good thing here. All right, so here we go. All right, guys, just keep in mind, just because I'm using Night here doesn't mean that you have to use Night. It's just gonna allow you to, put the bars a little bit faster. And you can see right there, the Cake Burst is not going to take Frost stacks. All right, but the damage output from Sherbet itself is just not too bad either. All right, but that's the reason why instead of having someone like Milk as well as Night, replacing one of them for someone like Vampire will definitely help out. But you can see right here, because we do have some chance of applying freeze to the boss with Sherbet as well as the taunts from Night and Milk, we're able to stun the boss relatively quickly here. All right, and here we go. Again, we're gonna taunt that, and we're going to be able to deal damage. All right, and here we go. We should be able to end it here. All right, having Vampire definitely does help out here instead of two taunts. 2 taunts is not required, but there you guys go. And Herb is there to, get rid of the burn effect for someone like Sherbet. But Sherbet right there dealing 8 million damage. And Night actually did pretty decent damage too. All right, guys, so the last boss of this particular video for all the way from difficulty F all the way up to D, and it is going to be the Dreamer. The Dreamer is actually going to reduce all incoming damage except for crit damage. All right, and also the Dreamer is going to be vulnerable to silence. So for silence, the cookies that are going to have silence are going to include someone like Latte as well as Cream Unicorn and Licorice with the Magic Candy. So these cookies are going to definitely help out. You don't need to have the Latte and Licorice Cookie Magic Candy super high, but in order to cost the silence for Licorice, you actually do need to have the magic candy. And then of course, because of the crit, you do want to have something like the scythe, which is going to help out, and the tactics are going to include something like the crit percentage here, the crit damage, and then the extra attack. The healing is also really good to helpful, but from the bottom one, there really is nothing that you kind of need to use here. So I would say focusing on the stat in the top is going to help out. And toppings, full solid almond, full swift chocolate, and then swift chocolate in order to, you know, keep that silence and all those debuffs up onto the boss. So here we go. And let's do this here. All right. Increasing the crit with Rockstar is going to be really, really good here. And then you can see right there the bar increasing dramatically there. And then we have Cream Unicorn, who is able to increase the damage resist of the 2 cookies that are getting healed. All right, we have Licorice and Latte silencing right there again. All right, and we have Rockstar increasing the damage resist. Wow, that was a lot of damage, but coming in clutch with the healing here. And again, I would definitely recommend putting more damage resist on your cookies. If you don't want to use a scythe and you want to go with the whistle, that is perfectly fine as well. But there you guys go. Wildberry actually did the most damage there because, you know, Wildberry is Wildberry. But these 3 right here definitely helps out in stunning the boss and allowing your cookies to deal the damage while they're vulnerable. But there you guys go. That is from difficulty F all the way up to D. I will make a separate video for difficulty C and then separate video for difficulty B, A, and so on. So watch out for that. But those teams in general are going to help you guys out in difficulty C, B, and A. It'll just really depend on your stats later on as you guys continue. But hope you guys found the video helpful. Let me know down in the comments below if you guys have any question regarding the teams and the cookies that you guys might be able to use. Thanks for watching. Good luck, and I'll see you guys all on the next one.